Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to week 4 of Project Positive Planet. Today we will be discussing Keep Travel Dreaming and Plan Your Future Wellness Business. Joining us is Sallie Fraenkel, President of Mind, Body, Spirit Network, and Rocco Bova, General Manager of Chable Resort.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It's so lovely to be here, and thank you so much, Stephanie. I so much look forward to Tuesdays, as I'm sure Rocco probably does, because Tuesdays are Travel Tuesdays. So actually, for many of us, we think about travel every single day, but it's nice to have a Travel Tuesday where we can get together with some of the best people in the travel business. And I certainly feel like we have one of those here with us today. So if it's okay with you, Stephanie, we'll jump right in.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll introduce myself briefly, and then I am going to ask our esteemed guest, Rocco Bova, to introduce himself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sallie Fraenkel. I am the president of the Mind, Body, Spirit Network, and I probably love wellness travel more than anything else that I do in my profession. I have been a wellness traveler now for about my goodness, almost 30 years, which is kind of dates me. But fortunately for me, my mother took me to Canyon Ranch when I was relatively young, and that started what has turned out for me to be a great passion. So it is wonderful to be here today with Rocco Bova. Rocco, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself before we jump in?
Sure. First, it's actually an honor to be among the goddess of wellness. You know, I'm a very tiny little a little expert. You know, I don't have so much experience, but thank you very much for inviting me. It's an honor, and also like to thank all the audience that they are present, and hopefully they will have a good time, as good as we're going to have it. I think we're all very aligned. You know, we all like to feel well, to enjoy a good lifestyle, and to be happy, which is the base of wellness at the end of the day, for me at least. And okay, so my name is Rocco. I'm from Italy. I'm turning 50 this year, so it's a big year for me. Whatever is gonna happen, I'm gonna turn 50. Okay.
It's a good thing, Rocco. It's a very good thing.
Sure is. So I've been in this business also for quite some time. I started very young, and I joined luxury hotels around 23 years ago. And the moment I joined this business, you know, I started to understand how much there is to do and to contribute. And then, my job brought me to so many places, so many beautiful places. I worked for some incredible companies. And about 3 years ago, I landed this incredible, but purely by chance, this incredible job in Mexico. And I've been here ever since, leading the Chable in Yucatan. Chable is a young wellness company. We currently have 2 hotels in Mexico, and a third one on its way, which we'll talk briefly during this webinar. But the interest that took me to this job, it was about the base and the focus of their wellness program. So Chable is not the traditional wellness. It's not the spa
Not at all.
and beautiful massage, which we do have, by the way.
And we're going to get into that in much more detail. So I'm not going to let you tell us everything about Chable yet, Rocco. So I'm going to jump in right now. So I hope you don't mind, because I don't want you to tell us everything. I want you to, to keep us hanging just a little bit. But I think what I do want everybody to know is that I had the good fortune to go to Chable in March of 2017, and when I arrived at the airport in Merida, Mexico, who should come and pick me up but Rocco Bova? So I was quite fortunate, and as I found out that moment when he picked me up, it was his, what was it, your 3rd day on the job, Rocco?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Maybe second?
I started on the 1st of March. Yeah, my first day of work.
So then it was your fourth day of work, I believe. And I had
Uh-huh.
the good fortune during my visit to Chable to spend my whole time with Rocco. And we both learned and discovered some of the magic of Chable together. So I will forever treasure that experience, because getting to see it myself and then also through your eyes and your experience as the new general manager was quite a special treat. But we're going to learn a lot more about Chable during this webinar. But before we go there, the subject of our webinar is actually travel dreaming and travel planning. And for many of us who are in the business, dreaming and planning are two very different things, but two things that we engage in quite a bit. And I would like to ask you, Rocco, what are you dreaming about as it relates to travel, and where are you wanting to go, even though we know right now that's not necessarily within our grasp, but hopefully will be in the not too far future?
Sure. I mean, I've been working for so long in in small hotels, and my previous experience actually prior to joining boutique hotels was in bigger hotels. So now I can compare, a big hotel, a large structure with a very small one, and intimate. And honestly, I can only see that as a need for people coming out of this pandemic. To only be looking for small properties with large spaces, gardens, nature, maybe beaches if it's possible, but certainly be in contact with earth again. We've been so much isolated in rooms and walls and whatever ceiling, and people certainly would like to experience freedom again.
Yeah.
That's one thing for sure that people would like to experience, to be able to walk freely without being asked, don't stay close to me. And I can't wait to hug people. I'm not scared of this. I cannot wait to hug a person. I hate this word, social distancing. It's horrible. I think it's the most horrible a human being can experience, not to be able to touch a person. I mean, hospitality also is made of physical contact. We shake hands, we hug people, we have eye contact, we keep a 1 arm length of distance almost to respect the space, the physical space of the guest. But certainly, the social interaction is embedded in us, hospitality people. So this I don't think.
Absolutely.
To answer your question, yes, I think that hotels like ours, we are very lucky, very fortunate. Hotels like us that they have a low density construction, large spaces, nature, or beaches, or this is going to be a big hit in my opinion, and I look forward to try that too.
So where specifically, you, Rocco Bova, not the general manager of Chable, but you, Rocco Bova, just the person, where do you and your wife and your children, or just you alone, where will you, let's say I was a genie or a fairy godmother and I could wave my magic wand, where would you like to go?
We've got the answer. So I'm actually dreaming, and I'm actually specifically dreaming of a specific hotel, which everybody's talking so much about it. So one day I have to go. It's called the Brando.
The Brando. Oh, it's high on my list too, the Brando. Okay. And they are very green and sustainable from what I understand.
Right.
Oh, the Brando. Absolutely. In Tahiti.
Yes. So that's
okay.
That's on my hit list.
Okay. We're definitely going to visualize the Brando together, all of us, and get ourselves there. If we can make the flight, I think we'll be very, very fine once we get there, because I don't think that there's a lot of density, so we won't have to so much worry about that. That sounds wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about travel planning. I think you touched upon that a bit. Actually, before I go there, Stephanie, where are you dreaming of going today? Don't think I'm going to let you off.
I'm dreaming of going anywhere, Sallie.
Anywhere. You're dreaming of going to the grocery store down the street. I understand now.
Anywhere.
No. Where are you dreaming of going to? You and I are based in the United States, and we know that there's a lot of being written about how when we start to travel again, it may be a little bit more local before we're jumping on airplanes to go to the Brando. Tell me a place that you might be dreaming of going that's a little more accessible, before we are actually traveling so far.
Absolutely. I've actually been invited to Lake Nona. So as soon as I can get in the
Oh.
car and drive, I'm very excited about touring Lake Nona.
Could you
And
tell us a little bit about Lake Nona and what that is?
yeah, Lake Nona is one of the first wellness cities. They have a commerce portion where they have sports arenas. They also have a hospital with medical facilities, and then they have a wellness component and a medical wellness component. So I'm very excited to kind of see the future of this burgeoning market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lake Nona, I think that'll be very interesting that you can share more about that with us, because there's a lot in the future to be seen, what our future may look like for some of us as in terms of what they're putting together at Lake Nona. Makes me think a little bit of Serenbe, although they don't really actually have the hospital yet. I don't know if you've actually been there outside of Atlanta, Georgia, but another place you can add to your close travel list. Maybe you can stop there en route to Lake Nona. Let me come back to you, Rocco, and let's move a little bit into the idea of travel planning. Obviously, as the general manager of a 5-star luxury property, I would like to know a little bit more about how you're planning for reopening and some specifics that you all are looking at from a point of view operationally, as well as from the point of view of the travel trade and then the consumer.
Well, for sure, we are still very much open. The hotel actually never closed.
Okay.
We may be close to guests, but we are not close to anybody else. So we have about 30% of our staff are still going to work every day, including management, including me. For example, until last week, I worked literally every day of the week. And starting from this week, I'm going to work only once or twice a day, going to the hotel, to the property, but I'm still working from home. So the property is still undergoing maintenance. We actually have done some major construction work, because the small pathways, where the little golf cart were going, were already worn, so we have to change a few of them. We've been able to do major maintenance in the spa, because obviously the spa, we cannot make noise, so we are lucky, at least, in all the bad news, but at least we have some victories also here. So that now that the spa is closed, we can do some major maintenance to the spa, painting all the cabins and all the little pathways, so we can do some major maintenance there. And all the casitas, the hotel is still alive, because we use a lot of natural materials for the construction. So stone, wood, you need to care for it all the time. So the hotel never really closed. Now, in terms of the industry, we're still in touch with everybody. Nearly every day we are in touch with different people, or every week we send like an update to all the travel trade, so that they know where we stand, what we're doing, and what are the plans for the future. We updated as well about what's happening in Mexico, because we need to tell them, from a country to another country, things change every day, so we need to keep them up to date. And from my point of view, my personal point, every day I post either pictures or a video of the hotel.
I have been seeing those.
Mm-hmm.
You are very active on social media, Rocco Bova. And we'll share, maybe Stephanie can share both yours and my social media information after this, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to see those, all that you're posting, those videos daily.
I think it's very important that you make the community knowing that you are there for them, that you're waiting for them. You are looking forward to see them back again, and frankly speaking, has been working quite well also for me, for the brand, and for our partners, and I will continue to do so. It's not so difficult to create content, because our hotel, thankfully, we are graced by nature, and we have so much beautiful content there available, so it's not so difficult. But I think it's important that we show what we're doing. And then last but not the least, from an operational point of view, we are reviewing all our SOP, our manuals, procedures, because we know that the expectations of our guests will be different, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not 100%, but there will be specific touch point of the experience of the journey, of the guest journey, where we need to show what we have done to make them feel more secure, more safe.
Yeah.
So we're working on that.
I'm going to come back to you on that. I'm a big believer that even though this is a webinar, I like to make things interactive. So I just want to take a moment and I just want to acknowledge a few people that I'm able to see that are here with us. Bonnie Baker, whom I know you know, Rocco, is joining us from San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. I don't know everybody here. I just want to say hi to Christy and Deborah, Jackie Roby, who was with us 2 weeks ago as our guest. Somebody named Maureen can't believe you're 50, Rocco. I'm sure that's gonna make you feel good. Maybe Maureen is your wife. I don't know. I want to say hello to Indy, and let's see, we have Gail who's joining us from Vancouver. So let's say hello to all of our friends in Canada, as well as we have Constanza, who's with us from Costa Rica. People from all over, which is very nice to have people from the Caribbean, from Mexico, from Canada, from the US. And we also have a little bit of feedback, Rocco, of what other people are dreaming of visiting. And I'm going to just throw out there that a couple of people want to go Turks and Caicos or Nemacolin, which I have never been to, but I'm familiar with, which is near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Oh my goodness, we have some people who are dreaming of going very far away to Africa. Let's see, where else? Oh my goodness, Jackie wants to go to the Rock House in Negril in Jamaica. So that sounds, I guess, apparently, Stephanie, you've been there. So
fabulous property.
So that sounds really amazing. And then, of course, we have a lot of people who want to go somewhat locally. Donna wants to go visit her family in New Jersey. Then she wants to go to Chable, Rocco. So make sure you contact Donna. And Chris Torgerson, who also joined us 2 weeks ago, she wants to go to Italy, and she would like to go to Red Mountain, which is a fabulous spot in Utah. And let's see, a few others here. We have somebody else who's joining us. Melissa's from Costa Rica, Sandy in Miami. Oh my goodness, Michelle from Trinidad, and Thor is in Norway. So I'm going to stop there, but say that we have truly a global group. And I had to put my glasses on in order to be able to see all of that. But Rocco, my next question for you is, could you give us a specific example of an SOP or a standard operating procedure that you might alter because of coronavirus, to give us a sense of what that looks like?
Sure. I mean, already the arrival experience from the airport. So, for example, we need to find, if we go ourselves with our personal chauffeur-driven limousine, what measure are we going to introduce in terms of sanitizing of the door handle, as simple as sanitizing door handles before the guest goes in, sanitizing the interiors, obviously, so that they feel, providing gel, so that they can clean their hands after traveling from the airport, or whether we give it right when we welcome them at immigration. All these kind of things, and this can be easily done. It can be easily changed. This is not a big deal. You just need to buy some gel and some disinfectant, and it's done. So it's not.
Isn't it kind of a funny image, though? Can't you just sort of see it now? Everybody, they're coming up to you, wanting to hug you, and like you have to put your hand out. And
it's horrible.
I mean, we have to laugh at it a little bit, don't we?
Yes, but
what once were those wonderful towels that we got when we, the beautiful cold towels. Now it will be replaced with fabulous handmade gel for sanitizing our hands.
Yeah, well, maybe with some essential oils, that can provide.
Oh, I like that.
Some chemical.
Yeah, that's a good.
But surely we need to find then during dinner time, spacing between tables, menus that will no longer be made of paper, maybe downloadable on the mobile of each guest, so that they can see, they don't need to touch something else. I mean, yeah, it all sounds and looks horrible, to be honest with you, because hospitality has never been like that. Digital venue, they're not new. They've been out in the market maybe for 10 years or even more. but they never took off. People, they want to see a piece of paper.
But let me play devil's advocate for a minute. And I've been thinking about this a lot, and it's something that I want to pose. And you're the first wellness property I'm getting to pose this to. Okay. So as a self-described wellness or property with a very strong DNA of wellness at Chable, how do you, when people come looking for wellness stay, and we know how important it is for them to disconnect to a point of, and the role technology plays in our life and how that plays out in a stay, having been to Chable twice, one of the lovely things, I certainly understand that some people want to have their phones at dinner. But when you start having to have, I'm just playing this out for you, having to, have to have your phone at dinner in order to be able to see your menu, how do you really help people with this idea of needing to disconnect?
Well, the thing is that our resort is not really those that when you check in, we'll give you a little tray where you leave your phone there. Our hotel has always been very open to give the freedom to guests to choose whether they want to stay connected or not. So if they come for a retreat, that's a different story. That's one set of market that we cater for, and we know it quite well. But then the majority of the people, they still want to stay connected while on experiencing the wellness program that we have at the resort. Actually, on the contrary, we had some comments about the Wi-Fi strength at the spa, which in purpose we made it only at the reception area because we didn't want to keep
Perfect.
it. But people, they want to take the selfie, by the pool, and people, they want to take it while they have a massage. I mean, it's unbelievable. So we have to adapt as well and keep this option open to our guests rather than us dictating, unless we are specifically, one of those places that you purely go for retreat. But
I just throw that out because in the wellness places, the wellness hotels and resorts I visit throughout the world, there are many things that come into play to enhance, that is part of the wellness travel experience. And I do think it'll be very interesting moving forward to see where technology fits. I certainly think that it's a choice, but the issue becomes whether it's a requirement versus a choice and how much it affects each guest. But that's an interesting, obviously we're going to have to shift our behavior, and things like touching menus, is one of those behaviors. And I suppose, it will be interesting to see. I'm curious to know, because another thing that I've been seeing a lot of, and I'd like to hear your perspective, the way that things will be sanitized and cleaned. I'm sure you've seen some of these graphic images of airlines and big hotels with these major machines where they're spraying chemicals everywhere. Again, we're experiencing a pandemic, and we need to be very conscious that we don't want to infect guests. On the other hand, where's the balance of the amount, the chemicals that we might be inhaling as things get sanitized?
Well, actually, I've been looking at this already since the past 2-3 weeks, and funny enough, there are no chemicals. The majority of the chemicals used are all organic, and they are more made of enzymes rather than chemical themselves. So only if you use bleach or chloride, then of course you will damage. But because of this kind of chemicals cannot be used everywhere, they are obliged to use more organic matter to destroy a virus. So a virus doesn't survive where certain specific enzymes are. So they use these compounds, which are completely biodegradable, 100%. And the only thing that they leave is carbon, water, and hydrogen. So that's perfectly safe for the environment.
That's great. Good.
Now, what is most of my concern is actually the masks. Now we are producing and using billions and billions of masks every day. What happens to all these masks? How do we dispose of them? What do we do with them? We just putting them in the garbage, but we don't do anything with them, and they might be infected with something.
Ooh.
So nobody's talking about that. Nobody. So we every day, I'm sure that 80% of the population of the world is using some kind of mask. the majority of these masks are made of polyester, very, very fine thread of polyester. So this is all plastic. Again, is going to go into the environment. I mean, many people that are now using reusable masks, which are made of cotton or different layers of
cloth.
Which is wonderful, and you can reuse them several times over. But all the one-time use masks, these are all polyester. So this is all going to the environment, polluting and eventually infecting also the environment. So we don't know how to dispose. This is not very clear. Now, going back to the rooms, we already in touch with a company in Mexico. I already made contact with them. They explained to me their process. They seem to be extremely professional, and we certainly going to do that. So we're gonna even get a certification because we want to show to our guests that we are COVID-free or virus-free, because actually this compound, they kill any type of virus or bacteria. So that's a good sign to start. Then of course you need to maintain and do this continuously for as long as it is necessary.
That I have to tell you, I feel so much better having heard you that you actually, first of all, that these are biodegradable sprays, and secondly, that you're thinking about things like the masks and what happens to them, because it becomes very easy to forget that, I live in New York where we have to wear gloves and a mask whenever we leave our house. And I have a cloth mask that I'm washing, but now I have paper masks as it gets hotter. It's a little more challenging, and we throw away these rubber gloves, whatever they're made out of, latex, rubber, nitrile, whatever, every single time we use them. I mean, I don't know what else to do with them. No one's told me I can recycle those somewhere, and we're, sadly, we don't right now have a choice. We have to look at the greater of the evils, but, it is sad to think how we're, that we can't really, I would welcome any opportunities to address how to be as sustainable as possible with, having to be seriously conscious of everybody's health and well-being and this virus. So leave it to you all in Chable to be thinking so forwardly. So I really acknowledge that. So Stephanie, do you think we should take a question now, or should we keep going? I'm always happy to open this up to people's questions.
I have a question, and I just kind of posed it to the attendees. If anybody has any current travel plan for 2020, or are we just waiting to kind of get over the curve? Or if people are...
For 2020.
Do you have any travel plans, Sallie?
For 2020, at this moment, I actually do. Although my husband keeps telling me that that I'm crazy and I'm probably not going to do this. At this moment in time, I'm still the Healing Summit, which is put on by Healing Hotels of the World, is still taking place in Portugal in October, and so I am still planning to go there, and I am planning to travel in Portugal afterwards to go to Six Senses Douro Valley and possibly visit another wellness property that I've been aware of called Longevity. Now, I don't know. I think I keep that alive in my head because it's alive in my heart and it's my sincerest hope. I haven't rescheduled my flights yet because I don't believe TAP Portugal has even got their flight schedule published. So call me delusional. I don't know. What about you, Rocco? You got any plane trips planned home to Italy?
As long as Italy opens to fly, I'm going for vacation.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a
It seems like a lot of people do have travel plans. So
I want to know who has a travel plan where they actually are holding an airline ticket, because that will be the most interesting thing to me, because, I'm a little hesitant, to be honest with you, to go and put down money on an airline ticket, having, had to deal with a couple of airline tickets, which worked out, fine. But do you have any, let's see what people are saying.
Andrea has a few recon business trips planned for 2020 to visit wellness communities.
Anybody? Jackie Roby has 3 trips planned. Yeah, a lot of people are saying they have trips locally. Somebody's going to Turks in September. Hopefully they'll be able to get there. We'll see. There's the ATTA, Adventure Travel and Tourism Association conference in October. I too would want to go to that if it's still happening. But the thing about these conferences, and that's the things that I'm thinking about in terms of vacation type things. I fully expect to go to places just for my own interest, but that remains, a lot of them I'm going to do are local initially, but it's just hard to envision whether any of these conferences are actually going to happen this year. I don't know.
Absolutely.
So many things are, kind of getting addressed at the moment. So I think this is, unfolding. But I know what's so exciting about this call in particular is that we are with a bunch of people who I can honestly say don't seem to be afraid to travel. So I guess I would ask the question, is anybody afraid of travel? And that's certainly legitimate. And if so, what aspects of travel are you most fearful about? Because, I'm a big believer that part of dealing with fear is looking at it straight on. So when I think about travel and what parts make me most nervous, I like to look at that because then that helps me think about the thing that was making me most nervous. Rocco just gave me a sense of peace around, which is I was very concerned I'm going to go into a room where I'm breathing in a ton of chemicals, or an aircraft where I'm being bombarded by chemicals, and just the idea of breathing that into my lungs, especially when we're facing a, pandemic that's all about your lung functioning, lungs not functioning. But I'm sure I could think about other fears that will come my way. But so Rocco, let's move a little bit and talk a little more specifically about Chable. And I think it's time for us to see some beautiful pictures and have a little opportunity to dream and plan and think about wellness travel. And Stephanie, I think you have a few photographs that you might be able to share with us.
I do. Rocco, would you like to go to a specific property first?
No.
Let's go to the property, whichever one pops up. Rocco can talk to anything.
Sure.
Okay.
So let me tell you how did I get here while Stephanie is getting the pictures. So when I flew to Mexico, that was my very first time in Mexico ever. So, and I didn't speak Spanish, and I was quite excited, to discover Mexico. So this is Chable Maroma, for example. This is our beach property, and so I was very curious to discover Mexico. And then so I came to the airport in Merida, which is the city, the nearest where we are, and I was very surprised because I was not expecting, such a modern airport. I was expecting a more basic airport. So I said, okay, that's interesting. And then I went outside, and there were a bunch of people waiting for me, including Nicholas, by the way. So
Nicholas was waiting for you?
He was waiting for me. So, he said, oh my God, that's a good welcome. So while driving to go to Chable, Yucatan, then at the entrance of the resort, so they opened this huge gate, and this gated property. I say, oh my God, this must be a very nice property. So as soon as we start driving through the huge gardens that we have, as you know, there is more than a mile to drive from the main entrance of the resort until the reception. That gave me the sense of where I was going, and see this. This was a sunset, by the way. So imagine the lighting, the contrast within the day-night transition, and candles everywhere, and beautiful trees. That was amazing, an amazing arrival experience. One of the best I ever had in my life, actually. And then I start to see the warmth of the people. That for me was from that second, I said, okay, I hope they're gonna give me a contract here. Where do I sign? And then everything started to evolve from good to better. The property is a blend of old and new. So we have some old buildings because the place where I am, Chable, Yucatan, used to be an hacienda, a sisal hacienda. So there are still some signs of the sisal plants, but then the only areas kept original is the main house, where we have the concierge desk, the the reception, a little bar, a little meeting room, and the wine room, and my office, by the way. To some of the outer buildings, which one is actually our shop, our boutique, and it's also the arrival place where all the guests are welcomed and received. Everything else is brand new. So all the casitas and villas are brand new buildings, beautifully designed. So you can see some of the Chable Yucatan now in the pictures. But this blend between old and new has been kept in a way that I cannot describe it really. You really need to be there and live it.
I think this first picture shows you a little illustration of the old, just so that we can point out for people. And as we go through, you'll be able to see the difference with the new. I think the architecture, the way you preserve the old, and you can see a little bit of the old here in this picture. The new is obviously, for those of you who can see that little swing. Now, this is an example of the new. Yes, Rocco?
That's correct. That's
yes.
Correct. So and guests love that. They've been amazed about the how the architectures and design was kept within certain fine lines, which are loved by our guests.
Yes.
And so let's go into the wellness program or the reason, the purpose of Chable Yucatan, where the tagline is redefining wellness. So this tagline, which was maybe it's not so new, because the redefine is kind of being overused, but redefining wellness itself is kind of new. So what happened was that some years ago, when the owners and Hammock first met, there was a little bit of a brainstorming about what we're going to do with this hotel. We need to make it a destination, because there is nothing else, no other reason for people to come here. So it has to be a destination. And
so I think we should explain to people so they understand what you mean. We could that Chable in the Yucatan is not on the beach, and many people think when they go to Mexico, oh, we're going to have the beach. Now, having been to Chable twice, I'm going to say that you do not miss the beach, and you can go to the beach if you want to. But I never wanted to leave because of what you created there as a destination.
Correct. Stephanie, actually, if you can go back to the previous, I want to talk about this, because this really represents the heart of our wellness concept. So here you see Monica. Monica, she's our abuela, or our spiritual leader, and our wellness program is based on the ancient Maya wisdom. So the Maya people, which I've been learning, all this time. So the Maya people were unbelievable people. I mean, we still know so little about them, and I only scratched the surface. But the Maya people were incredibly intelligent people. They built pyramid, at the same time of the Egyptian, and they studied the skies at the same time as. As old as you can, as people know. So we're going back 2,000-3,000 years ago. We actually don't even know how back you can go with the Maya civilization. So they were extremely intelligent people and knowledgeable. So all this knowledge, unfortunately, has been lost. Obviously, when the Spanish came and destroyed all the history, all the knowledge. But something is being passed, from an old person to another young person, and then when they grow into abuela or abuelo, when they become with the knowledge, so they become old enough to know, then they can start passing again this knowledge to the next person, and so on and so forth. So over centuries, this knowledge is being transpassed from one person to the other. And Monica, she's actually helping also writing this knowledge into a book. So, which is great as well, what she's doing. So Monica, she joined.
Oh, really? When will that book be coming out?
Well, that's so much knowledge. So it's I think there will be some time. There will be some time. And it will be in Spanish, I'm sure. If not in Maya language.
I see.
So,
okay.
So Monica, she's helping our guests transition from what they are to what they want to be. So they come to our hotel normal, as a normal couple or normal husband and wife or family. And then when they get to know her, they go through a journey. Because Monica, she doesn't tell you anything. She doesn't sell you anything. She talks to you, and then suddenly you realize that you need to talk to her. And the more you talk to her, the more you want to talk to her, because what she tells you is the truth. And
yeah, this photograph is this Monica standing at the edge of the cenote?
That's correct, yes. So,
oh my goodness.
So when you know the truth, then you want to know more about the truth and say, okay, yes, I'm more curious. And so you get so into it that you cannot just say, okay, that's enough. So Monica, she has this knowledge. She knows how to talk. So for example, myself and my family, we had a ceremony in July 2017. So my wife, she came on the 1st of July 2017, and the 3rd of July would be actually my anniversary, my wedding anniversary. So I asked Monica to do a surprise for us and to do a ceremony, an initiation to a new life, and to learn about a new culture. And it was unbelievable. I mean, we were all, me, my wife, and my kids there all together, and we were all crying and hugging, and it was fantastic. And whatever she was talking to us, it was truth. For me, it was like getting married again to my wife, or starting a new life with my wife that I've been known for 20 years already. So all this knowledge and all this power that she has, she's able to transmit this through her energy, and she's able to help you channeling this energy in the right way. And our guest loves her. I mean, we have several guests that they come back just because of her. She does also initiation to transition to abuela, also to our guests. So when you reach the age of 53, you become an abuelo, or you become with the knowledge. So she helps you through a ceremony, to a ritual which lasts all night. So you start at 10 o'clock at night, and you finish like at 4 o'clock in the morning, through chanting and fires and whatever. So,
oh my goodness.
This is unbelievable. Our guests, they go crazy about that. And
this sounds incredible. There's so many things about. I have not been to Chable in Maroma. I know we're mostly focusing on Chable in Merida and Chochala, but I just think that what you're talking about in terms of honoring the Mayan culture, one thing that really struck me about Chable that I always like to talk about is how your gardeners go in and do a ritual first thing in the day to the plants and play music to the plants. Can you talk to us a little bit about that ritual?
Sure. Every morning around 7:30 o'clock in the morning, some of the gardeners, or even sometimes some of the service team members, because they are from the Maya genealogy. Mm-hmm. So they all know that, and they all practice this in their homes. So they play this pre-Hispanic instrument, and is basically a give gratefulness to Mother Earth to begin the day, and to help them to have something from Mother Earth, because obviously we need to ask permission. We cannot just take whatever we want when we want. We have to ask permission. So when they go and cut some fresh herbs, for example, to do infusion for our guests, they go there, with this little ocarine, and they play some music for a few moments, and then they cut some of the fresh herbs, so that we can use them for our infusion in the morning for our guests. It's very simple. It's something, is a gesture, very simple, but it's extremely meaningful, and I think it's really priceless. Our guests love it. They participate too. They go there as a spectator.
Well, I think it's very profound. I think the simplicity, even though it's a simple ritual, there's the profundity of it, of honoring Mother Earth, of acknowledging, and that this is actually something that Mayans have been doing for centuries. So I think the idea of, honoring where we came from, where we are, where we're going is super powerful. I think let's move on, because I think everybody would love to know, because I personally was so surprised to hear that you have a new property coming on, which I bet most people don't know about. So maybe you could give us a sneak preview. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, this is Mukan. So Mukan is a new acquisition. It's not public yet because obviously it has to go through some work, renovation work mainly. I was there in end of February this year, because I need to be able to explain to the people I talk to, and I can tell you that is just beyond expectation. I mean, there are very few, unless you go in a private island, then you can appreciate the similar experiences and views, but this is not a private island, so it's still very close to the city. If you want to go to Tulum, for example, which is also another spiritual place, a lot of people that love the spirituality of Tulum, which is very hippie, but still works for a lot. So within an hour from Tulum city, you can actually drive south to Siankan, which is a biosphere. A biosphere is basically a protected area, which is also home to one of the largest reefs in the world. So the third largest reef in the world, starting in Cancun and ends in Belize. So all this area basically is unspoiled. There are not many construction around. I mean, the next construction to Mukan is about 1 kilometer away, so on foot. And the water is beautiful, transparent, full of sea life. You see turtles. So actually, when I was swimming, when I was snorkeling, a turtle just came, just came close and curious, and then swam away.
So Rocco, are these your personal photographs? Did you take that picture of that turtle?
No. These are not my.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you took that turtle photo. Okay.
No, but I can share some of mine. I also saw a little reef shark as well. These are not here, but I saw one reef shark, and they're very fine. You can swim very close to them. You can nearly touch them, but it's really beautiful. So the place has only 10 rooms, and it's beautiful. It's perfect for a retreat, for example, people that they want to go there for a yoga retreat, or maybe some friends gathering that they want to go through a transformational travel trip. And we can arrange, obviously, all that. We only have one restaurant, but the chef is very creative, and they can do amazing stuff if guests wants. So it's perfect for small groups, or maybe a family reunion, or just for couple. For example, when I was there with my family, there were 2 other couples at least that they were there, and another family. So it's perfect for. I hate to use this word, but it's perfect for social distancing.
Well, you know what? I actually think that's a perfect segue that, as we start to travel again, I think one of the things that we all know, that the opportunity, let's say, to go to a place like Mukan, where there are only 10 rooms, you have a lot of nature, a lot of open space, you have access to incredible, healthful food. You can really reconnect with others, but in a fairly controlled environment. I think that probably, if there were a resort that I was going to create a wellness travel experience post-coronavirus, it'd probably look an awful lot like Mukan. So maybe you have the opportunity to model the wellness, the post-COVID-19 wellness experience of the future. And perhaps in this biosphere, you really have a unique opportunity with this reef, which thank you, Sandy Antonello. We will not touch the wildlife or reef. And Rocco promises he's not touching the sharks or the turtles, right, Rocco? Right, we don't touch, we just look. But I think since we have about 10 minutes left, maybe we should take a couple of questions. And I just want to say, Rocco, you're just an amazing guest, and everything you talk about is so inspiring. And I also just want to say that for what you've had to say about how you felt about Chable says an awful lot, since I know you came from Amen Resorts to Chable. So that wasn't exactly like you came from the Holiday Inn to Chable. Not that I mean, Holiday Inn is wonderful in its own right, but you certainly came from a high bar and quite the world of luxury. And, personally, while I haven't been everywhere, I've had the good fortune, as I said, to have gone to Chable. And, the way in which you do everything there speaks to my heart, because it's luxurious, but it's also there's a barefoot luxury element, which is what, it's a down to earth, grounded within these spectacular private villas that, every single guest stays in, but yet you do feel connected to the earth and to Mayan rituals, and to, you did not talk at all about the cuisine, which I'm kind of shocked about, because you have a world-class chef, but I guess we only have so much time.
We need more time for sure.
We need more time.
Part 2.
Yes, for sure. Yes, exactly. So I just were wondering, questions. I see, Rocco, that some people would like to get your email and contact information so that they can get more info on the properties.
I can pop that in the chat.
Okay, great. So that'd be great, Stephanie. I know Rocco is going to be just thrilled to be overwhelmed by emails, but you're pretty responsive, I'd say. And here it is. Okay.
Did you get it?
Rocco, when do you think Chable Tulum will officially open? And will they offer similar services or rituals as Maroma and the Yucatan?
Well, it's difficult to say, because it's at the moment nobody can start working. So even construction cannot begin until we get a clearance for the workers to begin work. So, we're looking at probably 6 months from the moment that the construction work can begin, which at this point I don't really have a date. I guess conservatively maybe June, July. I guess that it will be possible for construction people to begin work again, and then from that 12 months. So hopefully we can get into the festive season before the festive season begins. That will be ideal, but only time can tell, because we don't know how this situation is going to evolve, because it's changing every day nearly.
Are you actually referencing festive season 2020 or 2021?
Oh no, 2020 for Mucan.
Oh my goodness.
For Mucan.
Oh wow. Okay.
No,
that's pretty quick. Okay.
Yeah,
and will there be a spa at Mucan?
There is a small building, because there you cannot build anything else other than what it is already there. There is one small building with 2 rooms, which can be modified into like a mini, very tiny spa. So I guess there will be like a rooms for a small spa. Otherwise, we can do in-room spa, which is very common nowadays. It's not a problem.
Yes.
The beach is huge. Maybe we can do a little cabana by the beach. Who doesn't want to get a massage by the beach? I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll definitely be offering spa treatments. Yeah.
Sure. I would even consider something like a floating pontoon, something on the water. People can actually go.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Very
wow. Wonderful. Who's doing the somebody's asked the question about the design, the interior design. Won awards, so many awards for interior design of Chable in the Yucatan. Do you know can you tell us who did the interior design?
Yeah, sure. Her name is Paulina Moran. She's Mexican, of course, and she did all the interior for both Chable Yucatan, Chable Maroma, and she's already working on 2 more properties, by the way. We actually have a 4th property, which is also opening, I would say probably 18 to 24 months from now, that this will be in La Paz, in the Sea of Cortez, in the Baja California Sur.
Oh, okay. Going to the west coast of Mexico now. Okay.
North of Los Cabos, but in the Sea of Cortez size. So that will be also, that is stunning design. That's unbelievable.
Wonderful. Let's see if we have any other questions. Well, I will say that people really love the idea of the floating spa, Rocco. So hopefully you'll put that platform out there. That sounds pretty amazing. Also, that would be lovely to do meditation and yoga on a floating platform in the water. Yeah, we like that idea. I think that we've tried to answer pretty much every question we've gotten, and we only have another couple of minutes. So anything, Stephanie, you'd like to leave us with, or Rocco, before we say goodbye to everybody?
Rocco, you have any closing thoughts?
No, for me, I see a lot of questions asked about, what we do in terms of public relations and stuff. But, please contact me directly. I will be very happy to answer individually every single one of you. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm humbled to be invited, with at this webinar. Thank you so much for all of you and for thinking of me. I love sharing what I know, the little I know, with the people that like to listen to my experience, and I hope I can influence more people to this industry, because it's just wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to hug people, and I cannot wait to hug you in person.
I
When you come
cannot
next
wait to
week,
hug you either.
I'll give you a
We
huge
would
hug.
cannot wait. And Rocco, you are the epitome of hospitality. Your smile, everything about you exudes hospitality. And I just want to say to everyone that we will be back next Tuesday with another Travel Tuesday. We took off last Tuesday because some weeks I'm not around, but next week we will be back, and I'm hoping I will have a guest who has and I think Rocco already knows her, but I'm not going to mention her name till I 100% confirm. But I will just say that she has a close tie to the Brando. She also has a close tie to Chable and many of the best properties around the world. And talking with her up to Travel, Dream, and Plan, and wellness travel in particular, is going to be a huge treat, because probably I think I've been to a lot of places, a lot of wellness properties. She's probably been to 2 or 3 times as many as I have. So how's that for a tease? And hopefully we will see you all next Tuesday for our travel, dreaming, and planning. And Stephanie, let you close us out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for allowing Rocco and me to have this wonderful hour with you.
Yes, thank you, Sallie. Thank you, Rocco. We're all planning on how we can get to all 3 properties now. So this was Project Positive Planet. I thank our guests, Sallie, and great tease for next week, and we hope to see you then. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Be well.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah. Bye.